Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1989 arcade. You're looking at this screen probably saying, where's the picture? Yeah, this game was delisted from the Xbox Live Arcade. This was released on Xbox 360 in 2007. It is a port of the 1989 arcade game from Konami. I don't understand that, because there's a lot of games that sometimes get delisted off of this. They lose the picture when you go to the menu, and I don't know why that is. But either way, just wanted to show off that weirdness, I guess, before we start getting into the game proper. This is a game I've been asked to do. Well, I've been asked to do Turtles for a while, or some kind of Turtles game. I've been asked particularly for Hyperstone Heist on Genesis and Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo. I still need to get copies of those, actually, in order to do it. So this is actually the only Turtles game I own. And ironically, it's the one you can't buy anymore because, as I was kind of hinting before, this game came out in 2007. It was actually an interesting case. Before we start playing this, I just want to talk about this. At the time, the TMNT movie came out, and it was the rights of the games were owned by Ubisoft. And so what happened was that they said, hey, we want to have some games going on. So they made their own game, which was on a bunch of systems. And then they went back to Konami, and they said, hey, can we have a licensing situation going on with the old games? And, well, they did. And so they went back. They were able to get rights to the NES Turtles game, which went onto the Wii Virtual Console. And they also were able to get this arcade game going on the 360. So that was just something kind of interesting just to point out. But again, unfortunately, because this is a licensed game, and it's now, almost 14 years since it came out, or since they released it for this, you can't buy this game anymore, unfortunately. So the only way you can actually legally play this arcade game is if you happen to buy this before, if you play the NES port, which was watered down, if you played any of the home computer ports, I think it was on like Amstrad and Amiga and things like that, but again, heavily compromised. And then the other way you could feasibly do it is if you're familiar with Arcade 1-Up, they do these arcade machines, like these mini arcade machines. They run for about $350, $400 so dollars. You could buy a unit they have. They actually released this, I think, last year that has this Turtles arcade game and Turtles in Time on it. But even then, they made some changes as far as some of the music, at least as far as the opening theme. This one didn't. This one still has the same opening theme, and it's going to be an interesting case for this because it's a case of licensed material. It's only a few. Oh, hey, Alec Verse, how you doing tonight? Anyway, as I said, let's at least get started on this. This is going to be a little bit of a different situation as far as playing this because there's only going to be so much I can show tonight or explain over the Turtles game. Like, you're playing as one of the Turtles, you're beating up Foot Clan soldiers, and you're going to be going after Shredder at the end of it. So there's not only so much I can really talk about on this. That takes me back. But yeah, as I was saying, this is just a beat-em-up with the Turtles. It's fun. You can play with up to 4 players. I'm playing it solo. There is also online for this, which I don't know if the servers are still up. I tried online just for the hell of it to see if I could see anyone online, but no. Got on a stream of Hyperstone Heist. I still have to get that one. I don't have it, and I don't have the Turtles in Time either. I gotta pick those up, but unfortunately, they're starting to go up in price. But as I said, at some point, I do want to get those, because there's other people that asked me to do that one and Turtles in Time, and they're different enough that they'd be worth playing both of them, or all 3 in this case. But we're going to start with this arcade version. You have your choice of the 4 Turtles. Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines, Raphael is cool but rude, give me a break, and Michelangelo is a party dude. So I'm going to be dying constantly because this is one of those arcade games where you only have one life and you have to keep putting quarters in. So I'm going to be switching Turtles a lot, well, at least for some of it, but I'm going to start with Donatello.
Fire! Hang on, April.
Alright, so scene 1 is the fire. We got to get April out of her apartment building. Again, basically just run around, beat stuff up. A is jump. X in this case is attack. Press both of them at the same time to do a power attack, which causes more damage. That's really all there is to say about this game, honestly, except for, seeing some of the Foot Clan soldiers or getting stuck like that when you hit buttons. So, I guess given that, I was like, well, there's only really so much I'm going to be able to talk about on this game, so let me explain why I'm doing this game now. I'm doing this game because people have asked me to do a Turtles game, so this is the one I have, so we're doing that. But then I was also thinking about something else, because This week saw the release of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World Complete Collection, or Complete Edition, I should say, which is the long-awaited, long-begged-for re-release of the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World game that was lost to time for a while. It was on the 360 and the PS3. Like this game, you can't buy it anymore on those systems, but the guy who was responsible for that franchise went to Ubisoft. He was basically petitioning for this and said, I want a re-release of this. And so they re-released it this week. And a lot of people are saying, like, wait a minute, we're going to be in a situation where this is going to be lost to time again. Well, what happened is that Limited Run Games made a deal with Ubisoft so that now we're going to be able to have a physical version of that Scott Pilgrim game, the first time we've ever seen that happen. Which I think the pre-orders went up yesterday, and I think they said it was the most popular and the quickest response they've had to one of these things. Basically, they sold 25,000 in 3 hours. And that was even before I put my pre-order in for the Switch version last night. Alright, this is Rocksteady. So we're going to fight him, but I guess just to go back to what I was mentioning is, it got me thinking. The fact that that game is coming out and the fact that there's such a huge response to the idea of there's a physical version of that game when there wasn't before. Okay, I died. When you shell shock, that's a game over, and you got to put another quarter in. So I'm going to play with Donatello again and just beat the hell out of Rocksteady. We'll be fine. It's harder here because then you start shooting the gun, and also when you combo him, sometimes he'll do that kick. So it makes things a little harder. Thankfully, Donatello does have longer range. When he starts flashing like that, you're close to killing him. Thankfully, he's just shooting all over the place and not attacking me. I guess to go back to what I was mentioning with Scott Pilgrim was the idea that people, I guess, wanted a physical version of that badly. So that might explain why Limited Run's release of that already has so many sold copies. And they haven't even started printing them yet. So what I was thinking as far as that, and with this game as well, is other games that have been lost to time to some degree, particularly in their original form, and this is kind of one of them. I mean, as I said, there's been an arcade 1-up unit that came out. You can get that for like $350, $400. I think they sell them like department stores. I think I saw one at Walmart and was there about a couple weeks ago. You could feasibly buy it and play it there, but it's also that kind of thing, well, in digital age, I mean, I love the idea when, like, these old games came out. When this game came out, I was totally psyched. I was saying, okay, I want to get this, especially because it's only $5. But then you run into situations where, hey, the license runs out, and we don't have accessibility to the game anymore. So it made me wonder, and this might be the discussion for the chat, and this might be something I think I want to do more with this channel, which is, I'm going to play games, I'm going to play what you guys want me to play, I'll show off what it is, explain what we're seeing, and my histories with it. And, of course, the fact that there's the TV, and tonight I dine on turtle soup. Yeah, with good old Shredder, which we have to destroy. We'll get to him when we get to him. But I'm thinking just to kind of preface a lot of these, I guess, playthroughs I do with, like, a topic. And I think the topic here is going to be games lost to time and licensed beat-em-ups, because the Scott Pilgrim game was a licensed beat-em-up, just like this is, just like X-Men was, just like Simpsons was, each of which, again, got releases here. Duke Nukem for video game history. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I would have to get the Duke Nukem 3D, which is actually pretty cheap. I think you can get that for like $5 on most of the new systems. And there are also ports of it that came on a bunch of systems. I think Saturn got it, PlayStation got it, Nintendo 64 got a different version. But that would be an interesting one to take a look at as far as that. But again, I think it might be the idea of like history of stuff, or kind of a topic to go along with it. I guess in the case of Turtles, we're talking licensed beat-em-ups and the idea of digital releases. Alright, pizza time. Yeah, when you see that, you see the pizza on the screen, get it? It's a full restore for your health. Which, again, you're going to need in this game, but since we're playing this way, it's not going to be that much of a situation because we're going to have unlimited continues as is. Which I know is kind of the easy way out, but again, feasibly you could do that in the arcade too if you kept putting in quarters. But again, this game was designed around that. It's basically get beaten up, beat up people, and then just keep putting in the money. That's how Konami made money on this game and everything else they made. Again, I mentioned X-Men, I mentioned The Simpsons, which are also beat-em-ups from them as well. I think both came out after this. And unfortunately, I was a dope when they released on the 360 and the PS3, because I unfortunately only downloaded the demos, and the license period ran out so quick, I wasn't able to get those. And with the exception of X-Men, which is getting an arcade 1-up machine, I think in sometime this year, Simpsons has lost to time outside of other home ports that are downgraded significantly, and our systems I don't own. I think there's one on Commodore 64. And sort of same with Turtles, but again, I already have Turtles, so we're set with that. So I guess, question to chat then, you could talk about anything to this, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, your history with the franchise, but also the idea of what your thoughts are about some of these licensed beat-em-ups or any game that might be lost to time because, hey, they re-released them, but then they're not available anymore. It's something that's been kind of flying around in my head for the past couple days. Oh. Alright, here is Bebop. Yeah, they're getting prettier indeed. And I definitely did like that in the arcade where the idea you have the voice acting going on. And most of the home ports didn't have that. Even of stuff like, well, I mean, okay, Hyperstone Heist sort of had it, Turtles in Time sort of had it, but they're also definitely muffled. Which, again, made sense on the 16-bit systems, but was something to keep in mind. Alright, so I gotta keep hitting him, but he's gotta keep punching me and shooting me with that laser gun. Shell shock. Alright, so I'm dead. Let me show off another turtle. Let's show off Raphael. He's a little different than Donatello in the sense that he has a shorter range. I don't know if there's situations with, them being more powerful, but sometimes their special attacks are a little different. His is the only one that is different, actually. It does that forward roll kick. The other ones kind of do the same thing Donatello did, but without as much range as him. So again, not really too much to say as far as it. No, he's dead, so in the sewer we go. This is where the Foot Clan soldiers start to have weapons, which have a strong reach and can kill me really quickly. Again, I wonder if there's going to be like a death count as far as how many times I'm dying in this. But again, and that's going to come into play when I mention some of the achievements for this game, for this release, which are insanely difficult to get. I'm surprised I got even as many as I did. And I'll mention some of them when we get to those sections. Actually, one of them I think was finishing the first level in less than 2 minutes, which I've done. That wasn't too bad. But there's other ones you're thinking, the only way I could think to reliably get them pretty much would be to play with another player or 3 other players and then just let them do all the work and stay away because someone were like, don't take damage in a high thing. Especially on doing a death count. Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be countless, honestly, as far as this game is concerned. Because, again, this is a game that's designed specifically around you not be living long and you putting more quarters into the machine. Again, it's an arcade game. And you definitely had some other Turtles games that kind of adjusted that a little bit, like with Turtles in Time in particular, and Hyperstone Heists. I do need to go get that pizza, otherwise I'm going to be dead. Or I'll hit the gate and still die. Alright. Now let's pull out Leonardo. He's supposed to be the leader. And yes, this is based on the old cartoon from the 80s, but the pictures you're seeing are of the TMNT movie from 2007, so that was kind of how they went about it, again, because Ubisoft had the license, and that was nice of them to go back to Konami and say, hey, can we release this, and then make it happen, because you don't always get that happening, which is definitely a sad thing, but technically aren't cheating, you just have a lot of quarters. Yeah, in the case of this one, not, because, again, this home port is designed around unlimited continues. And really, some of the ones I've played have not been. In fact, the last time I did Konami arcade games, it was with the, what was it? The Arcade Classics Collection, or the Arcade Classics Anniversary Collection. I was doing a lot of the plane shooters. Those have built-in continue limitations, which I didn't know they had. So, technically, we're on free play. And feasibly, if you have an arcade machine, you can feasibly, like, play around with the board and change it so that you have situations where, like, oh, it's free play, so it's not going to be getting into that you can play state without entering money. In fact, I think I remember when I was young, there was one of my dentist's office, of all places, had a Miss Pac-Man arcade machine that they did that with, and so it was like free play on that game, and it was a blast. Alright, here's Baxter Stockman. I think, wait, no, is it Baxter Stockman? Yeah, my knowledge of the Turtles is kind of limited. No, I think this is Baxter Stockman before he turned into the Fly. Which is what happened in Turtles in Time, and also in other arcs of the cartoon. Back with food. Alright. Anything good? Is it pizza time for you? I guess that's the real question to be asking when you say something like that. Ah, shell shock. Well, it's either pizza time or it's or tonight you're done on turtle soup. It's gonna be one of those two. Which actually interesting factoid, on the NES port of this, which is downgraded graphically, but they added extra levels. Oh, enchiladas. Okay. Sounds like a good time. But yeah, on the NES version, there was actually a licensing situation with that, too, where they had a deal with Pizza Hut, where they actually had, like, Pizza Hut pizzas you were picking up as power-ups. And I think it came with a coupon in the box for, like, a Pizza Hut pizza, which is long since expired now. I did do my shopping today, got pizza. Yeah, I think I have some over my fridge. So there is that. Alright, now he's done. And then this is mostly going to be War of Attrition stuff. Alright, so they got April O'Neil, of course. Alright, and we are in the streets. Alright, those are the signs. You can actually hit these and also hit the cones. I think there's an achievement for them. I do have that one because it's actually one of the easiest. The other ones, no. And we'll get into those. In fact, I'll probably show off the achievement list when we're done if I forget to mention it. But the other thing you can do is you can also hit the foot soldiers with some of these things. Or hit the exploding barrel, stand out of the way, and boom, they're exploding. It's feasible also, this is easy for playing with 4 players, which you can do, and thankfully you can do it locally as well. So even if the online is not, I guess, feasibly available, people aren't playing it anymore, one of the two, you can still play it with friends. I want to be careful here because it's not there yet. In other Donatello, it's kind of hard to hit the cones from that angle. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, I got to be careful. The car's coming out. Yeah, we're going to be hearing that probably every 2 minutes. Maybe less, or maybe more as I go along. I mean, really, this isn't a long game. I mean, it's an arcade game. So it wasn't necessarily designed to be super long. But, again, there's a decent amount of time to this. We should be here. We played Turtles in Time Reshelled. Yeah, sort of. I played the demo of Turtles in Time Reshelled. I did not like it whatsoever. I don't know if you feel the same way. To me, I like the idea. I like the idea to kind of go 3D with that, but it also has some horrible visual tearing. I went back to, like, the demo, because, again, that's another one you can't buy anymore. But, like, there's screen tearing, probably some of the worst I'd ever seen, and they changed the music. The way it plays isn't really that good. It just kind of feels soulless, and I was kind of really disappointed when they released that, because I thought, alright, it was Ubisoft who did put that out. You know, they'll do like with this, they said, okay, the success probably of this release said, well, let's do a remake of Turtles in Time, but I don't know, it just really, I did not like it. I mean, in fact, I remember, I had a really visceral reaction to it. I think someone said, like, I went to, like, with some friends of mine, they had it, and they had, like, a retro gaming night where they had the 360 built up with this, they had X-Men, I think this was before Simpsons came out for it, and Turtles in Time. And I just, out of nowhere, when he mentioned that, I just let out, like, an out-of-nowhere angry vulgarity. It's like, they were like, I can't believe he went that far on it just out of, you know, anything. So, yeah, I didn't like Turtles in Time Reshelled. I mean, I don't know, did you feel the same way, or did you think that it captured what it was? I mean, to be fair, I haven't played as much of Turtles in Time as other people. I played this game more than Turtles in Time, in all honesty, so maybe I'm not the best one to say. And again, maybe also the other thing is there's other Turtles games that bug me more. I think it's just that one, because considering how great Turtles in Time was, I was thinking, well, it'll be living up to the legacy of the arcade game and the Super Nintendo game, but to me, I just didn't think so. I mean, I wouldn't be against them trying something again like that, or, I mean, because they make a lot of Turtles games, they still do. I mean, they even made, I remember, I think, because the licenses have gone all around, you thought it was alright. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, it was playable. I mean, I didn't, because here's the thing, little thing about the 360, even if you didn't buy a game on it, it has your download history as far as everything, so if you, and the best thing about the 360, I'll say this, as far as the downloadable games, particularly on the Xbox Live Arcade, where this came from, everything had a demo, which I adored, and I miss that terribly nowadays on the new systems. But basically what that meant was that I have the demo, I feasibly have it for all of time. Even if they pull it off the store, even if they pull the game off the store, I feasibly have access to it. Same with this one. So I downloaded it again this year, because I wanted to kind of see if maybe I was a little wrong on it. And to a certain extent, I warmed up a little, but not as much as I would have thought I would. And again, I noticed the visual tearing in particular. I mean, you're walking down the street and you're just seeing like lines on the top of the screen, like tearing through the polygons. I'm thinking, even for 2009 when that came out, I was thinking like, this does not look good. It almost looks like something that was not finished. I mean, I don't even think it looked as good as the TMNT game that Ubisoft made 2 years before that, which actually came out around the same time as this one. But I mean, again, I like the idea, but I just don't think I'd execute it. I mean, maybe that's also the case with some of the... I mean, a lot of the Turtles games, I get the sense that that's been what it's like with the more modern ones, because I know that... I mean, let's go into this a little bit, because I'm mentioning the fact that you can't get this Turtles game anywhere outside of NES. You can't get this version anymore, and the only way to get it feasibly is with the arcade 1-up machine. You can unlock this game within, what is it? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus, which was on the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, which was released in 2004, I think. And one thing they did do is they changed the music and they changed the voice acting, I think because it was based on the 4Kids Turtles cartoon. And like some of the new ones, they're based on the Nickelodeon one that came out. I think there was another one. There's been a lot of variances of Turtles. So, the thing I'm thinking is like, there's been a lot of modern Turtles games people thought, well, alright, there might be a chance on them. Like the 3 Konami made, the one from 2003, Battle Nexus, and Mutant Nightmare. And Mutant Nightmare actually also had an unlockable of Turtles in Time, again, with its music and voices changed, though. And even a couple years ago, there was, what was it? Was it Mutants in Manhattan? It was the one that was by Platinum Games, that people made Bayonetta and, when they were Clover Studios, they made Okami and God Hand and Beautiful Joe. And even that one, people were saying, like, this should have been awesome, because they love Bayonetta, they love some of the stuff they did, even like the Legend of Korra game they did. But, they're saying, like, yeah, it just didn't work for them, and also in that case, that was a situation where, unlike this one, no local multiplayer. It's online only, so I don't even know if there was, like, System Link support for that one. So, yeah, feasibly you can't be doing multiplayer on that thing, which is, I think, part of the point of a lot of the Turtles games. Or local multiplayer, because, hey, you know, the online's not going to be out there forever. So, who knows? Okay, I guess I probably should be mentioning what's happening here, being on a skateboard and destroying helicopters and things, but again, I'm saying it's going to be, I guess, kind of redundant me just talking about the idea of what's going on, because again, it's a beat-em-up. There's not only so much I can say outside of, as far as what you're seeing and me dying, and again, the only other situation is, I guess, my experience with this franchise and these games. I mean, mostly it's this one, really. I didn't really play many of the other ones that much. I played a little bit of Turtles in Time in particular, but outside of that, not really a whole lot. And then some of the other ones. Sometimes looks like the stuff like Turtles in Time Reshelled, but generally speaking, not much. And with the cartoon, I mean, I think I saw it every so often, but I was also growing up at the time when that was seen. This is going to be funny to all you who are maybe younger, or maybe remember at the time. It was something that people were thinking, this is a corrupting force for children because it's showcasing, you know, violence and all that. Man, how times have changed. We're 30 years out for that, and like, Turtles is nothing. I mean, Turtles, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Ren and Stimpy to a certain extent, although Ren and Stimpy, I think, the parents were kind of right about that one in retrospect, especially when you get into the darker aspects of the guy who made it, but we'll talk about that when I do its Ren and Stimpy game, particularly, if I do, the one I can do is Stimpy's Invention on Genesis. I also have Quest for the Shaven Yak on the Game Gear, but I need to get a way to play my Game Gear games on this TV. I'm thinking of getting a Retron 5 for that one, also because my Game Gear's broken, so I need a replacement for it. But again, there was a time when Turtles was a corrupting force for our children. The movie, when it came out, the first one in 1990. Jim Henson was famous in saying, like, hey, I have concerns with this even though I'm doing the puppet work on it. And then years later you think about it and you're like, well, yeah, he was kind of one to talk in some ways, but still was kind of a different situation. I mean, I guess when you think about it, I guess it is kind of mindless, but then again, just like the style of it. I mean, I think maybe it's like the 80s kitsch is what I really like, because I'm always a sucker for that kind of thing, when it's done right. I think with Turtles, it was kind of doing that nicely at the time. I mean, it was a product of its time, so of course. But it still endured. I mean, and it wasn't even the cartoon that was the original. I mean, because there was the comic books, which were a lot darker, and then the cartoon, and like variations of the cartoon as well over time. Alright, here we go. What do we got now? It's been a while since I've played this. hairstylists complain about violence spread to children. Yeah, I mean, again, as I said with some of them, they had, I mean, in retrospect with Ren and Stimpy, they had a point, but from the child's perspective, it's like, hey, the more you're told that you can't have something, the more you want it. Or, actually, no, that's not even a child thing, that's a human nature thing. So I'm getting a little deep as far as that discussion, but, again, it shows, like, the idea of, like, how times are changing. But now it's like, okay, and again, I mean, thinking about other things, I mean, like Pokemon, people were saying that as well about, but again, nowadays, it's not seen to that degree. Still shell-shocking, for sure, but I'm getting a lot of points, and the thing about this version, and I guess the arcade version's like this, oh, yeah, that one. Damn! Oh, yeah, from the movie. That is great, and definitely, and this is something I've heard as far as the movies, because like, ooh, yeah, you don't want to be shocked by those guys. The idea with the movies, in some ways, it kind of made us feel as kids more grown up because of the thought of, all right, we're seeing something we're familiar with, but then also kind of having a little bit of a darker, almost noirish sort of look. I mean, think like 89 Batman Light, almost, as far as that. And even like the puppet work, which the later takes on the Turtles were sort of okay in some ways, but didn't completely capture that. I mean, I like the TMNT film from 2007, which was actually directed by someone who made video games. It was Kevin Monroe, who made a game called, what was it, Freaky Flyers. It was on PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, and he made that movie. Alright, Master Splinter is kidnapped, and we have this robot we have to defeat, and there's an achievement for that I just fucked up, and that is, don't get burned by that flamethrower. If you get burned by that flamethrower, it doesn't count, but again, we'll go into those achievements and what they are later. Some of them are so insane, and in this case, the easiest way to do this is basically just have 3 other players with you doing the hard work, pretty much. I also used that, I love 2007. Yeah, I was surprised too, because I remember when it came out, I went to it the day it opened. I remember I went to that and, what was it, Rain Over Me, which came out the same day. And I was really surprised about, like, the style of it, the look of it, even the idea of how they were kind of playing around with, like, camera work and the concept of, like, a CG animated take. And I did like that idea of it and also just, like, the style of how it played. And I would say of the more modern Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles things, particularly as far as the movies are concerned, it is probably my favorite after the original. I mean, and to be fair, I didn't mind the two which were not directed by Michael Bay, they were produced by him. I think it was Jonathan Liebesman who directed the first one. I don't remember who made the second. I thought they were okay for what they were, although the look of it was weird. And again, if you haven't heard this story, when they first were playing with the idea, the thought was that the Turtles were going to be aliens from another planet. Let's see, Pokemon teach kids to run away from home and kidnap animals and bugs for fighting. I've heard that latter one before, although in the case of that with Pokemon that's something that's kind of understood. Like when kids turn 10, they leave home. But that is an interesting point you bring up, because I was thinking about doing a Pokemon game of some sort at some point. One of the RPGs, perhaps, like doing that as I guess a recurring thing, like a couple weeks in a month, like go back to one of those. But also, I want to do Pokemon Snap, because Nintendo just announced the release date for new Pokemon Snap for the Switch, which is April 30th, and I am totally psyched to be getting another one of those after 12 years. So I am totally ready for that. So I'd want to go back to the original, but actually, I have to buy the original again because I have it on N64, but I don't want to axe my save file. There's only one save file, by the way. I'm tempted to just pay the $10 for the Virtual Console version. All right, while I'm talking there, we saved Splinter. And there's the Technodrome. Scene 5, we gotta find the Technodrome. Or we found it, and we're in it. Yeah, I'm making pretty good time on this one, in all honesty. My friends are talking about Pokemon. How so? What were they thinking? Are they talking about the new Pokemon Snap, or just about Pokemon in general? The floor is yours. While I get destroyed by those laser blasts. When you destroy them, they do get paralyzed like that, so we're all good. But again, floor is yours. Pokemon discussion, any discussion, fire away. Just in general, okay. Ah! And it's... Yeah, it was definitely a shell shock. That's the most fitting usage of it so far. But that's funny you mentioned that, because actually, as this year began, I kind of actually got more into Pokemon again for some reason. Not even just because I've been playing like the DLC of the new Pokemon games, but also because, I mean, on New Year's Day, I basically marathoned like the Advanced series for like a bunch of hours because they have them on Amazon Prime. So I was just kind of going back to some of those and also being annoyed at like, why is it taking 15 episodes for them to get to Rustboro City? But again, I forgot. I was like, well, that's anime logic. I mean, that was me back in the day with Dragon Ball Z. Like, when are they going to get to King Kai's place? Like 20 episodes later. How many episodes is it going to take for Goku to get the Spirit Bomb going against Frieza? Like, that was 5. Okay, I just got frozen by that machine. That is one of the other achievements. I did get that one, which is avoid getting frozen by each of these, which you basically just zigzag like this, but since I already got hit, yeah, it's not going to count, but I got it already, and I'll show that off when we're done. Actually, depending on how short this is, since we're at the Technodrome, I might be done, honestly, soon. So, if I get to that point, I have something else up my sleeve I might do. Someone asked me my favorite was, but I don't play the series except the puzzle spin-offs. Yeah, because I remember last week you mentioned Pokemon Puzzle League, and I mentioned it as well. Had you played the other ones, like, because I know there was it Pokemon Troze, I think was the one on the DS, and I think there were a couple other puzzle games of Pokemon that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Wasn't there that Pokemon Shuffle as well? I guess what are the experiences with those? Because I don't think I played any of those. And there was Puzzle Challenge on the Game Boy Color, but outside of the Puzzle League and Puzzle Challenge games, I haven't played any of the other ones. Still getting shocked by these things, but there's a pizza. Let me grab that. Pizza time. Also, I don't know how much you're hearing this on the microphone as far as me hitting the buttons, but hopefully it's not bothering you. But again, I don't know if I've actually ever asked how much of the buttons are being heard when I'm hitting them on the other end with the microphone. We're in the challenge Pokemon Speed on Gen 1. I've been thinking of doing Gen 1, honestly. Challenge at Shuffle. Okay. How is Shuffle? I haven't played that. I mean, while I penned your answer, I'll say this. I kind of want to do Gen 1, and I could do Gen 1, because my copy of Pokemon Yellow does work, and I do have Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, so I can offload the stuff I have in there, so I'm not losing anything. So, yeah, I kind of do want to do Gen 1. I've been thinking about that. It's okay. Okay. I mean, probably not compared to Puzzle League and Puzzle Challenge, because Puzzle Challenge, for those of you who might not be aware, Puzzle Challenge is basically sort of the Game Boy Color version of Puzzle League, except it's more in line of, if you like Bejeweled. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for a good Bejeweled every so often. I mean, the style of it. I mean, there's been also different takes on it. I also like, as far as like that take, Puzzle Quests. That's another good one as far as like the Bejeweled take. And I think Troze was kind of that direction from what I remember hearing, but I never played it. Very Yellow, but Red, Blue is older. Oh, I have Yellow. That would be the one I'd be doing. That's the one I have the physical copy of, and I don't have... My battery of my gold copy does not work, so I need to get that replaced. In fact, I think it's one of only 3 games I own that have a battery in them that doesn't work anymore. The other 2 are Link's Awakening DX and one I was surprised of, Drill Dozer for Game Boy Advance, which is unbelievably expensive. I had no idea how much that game went for. I bought that for $10 in 2007. It's now like $150. And I could not believe that. That's a game I'd like to show off as well, Drill Dozer, but I do want to get the cartridge fixed as far as the battery, get that replaced. And same with Pokemon Gold and Link's Awakening DX. But yeah, if I'm going to be doing Pokemon Gen 1, we're going to do Pokemon Yellow, because that's the one I own. And again, I can do Game Boy, because I do have the Super Game Boy, I do have the Game Boy Player. I mean, I guess to that degree, the only systems I really can't do anything on from the actual hardware that I own are the DS, the 3DS, and the Game Gear. Although if I get a Retron 5, the Game Gear situation is solved. And I also have collections of some Game Gear games, like the Sonic stuff, which is how I'm going to be doing Tales of Adventure later this year. But yeah, in that case, like, I can do stuff for Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color, no problem with that stuff. Actually, I guess the only other thing, and I want to figure this out as well, this is going to be another project for me, figure out PC, how to stream stuff from PC. And again, I'll be going to old stuff for that, for sure, when I get to that. But then maybe some more recent stuff based on what I have. And also whatever you guys want to see. Yeah, long complete playthrough of Pokemon Stadium. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, how would you want to see that done? Would you want to see me... Actually, here's an idea. Would you want to see me do Pokemon Yellow first, and then No, do Pokemon Yellow first, have a team built up, and then when I have that team built up, then do Stadium. Because I could do that. And also, here's a question. Do you want Stadium 1 or 2? Please stay Stadium 1 because Stadium 2's AI is unbelievably cheap. I played Stadium both. Yeah, I have both, so we can go through both of them as well, 2 and 3. Although if I'm going to be playing the Pokemon Game Boy game itself, I don't want to use Stadium to play the game itself, only because I am nervous as anything about the cartridge corrupting. That has happened to me a lot with that, and every time it's been a really devastating situation. Almost as devastating getting my ass kicked by Krang and his robots. Yeah, we're fighting Krang's robot, by the way, and Krang in the middle, and now he's dead.
I'm invincible.
Well, we'll see him at some point again. We'll see him when I get to Hyperstone Heist and the other one. Alright, here's... Oh, we're already at Shredder. Holy Jesus Christ, this is going to be really fast. But I do have a backup if this is... I think this is the end, I'm pretty sure. But I have a backup of other things I'll do to kind of fill the time. Because it's funny, usually the thought is, how long is one of these streams of mine going to last? It's usually going to be at least as long as it takes to finish the game, but I'm barely, not even 45 minutes in, and I'm already fighting Shredder, who in the cartoon was voiced by, alright, that's one of the other achievements there, getting shrunken by him and turned into a turtle. Make sure you avoid that to get the achievement, but I did not, so I'm not getting it. But yeah, I was going to say, in the cartoon, he was voiced by, I think, wasn't it Reginald Phil Johnson? He was, the dad on Family Matters, I believe. Which was always a nice little touch. And then, weirdly enough, in the Bay-produced films, he was played by, William Fichtner, who voiced, I don't remember the name of the lawyer from Grand Theft Auto Vice City. He was in that movie as Shredder, which was a weird choice. I mean, he was okay, I guess, but again, compared to how Shredder was in the cartoon, and then also in the first movie, and even in the TMNT film. Like, yeah, kind of wonky that way. Alright. Alright, so I guess with Shredder, he's splitting, and I gotta avoid getting shell-shocked, but again, how many times this is, like, what? Probably my 50th death? Again, I've lost count, but again, I'll have to take a look at that. Okay, Uncle Phil Fresh from Bits of Bel Air. Okay, thank you. Sorry. I don't know why I was thinking that. No, I guess I think, I think Reginald Phil Johnson because I think of Die Hard, and of course him playing Officer Powell in that film, and it's like, oh yeah, he was a Family Matters, but well, no. Uncle Phil, thank you. Okay. See, that's also why I appreciate having chat. I don't get everything right. Even though I talk a lot and give a sense that maybe I know a lot or might be encyclopedic, there's knowledge I don't have and things I don't remember off the top of my head. So having people behind me to explain or remind me is like, wait, no, it's this. Yeah, go ahead. Join the conversation and join me standing on Shredder's body and running away for the Technodrome. Alright. Freaked the Foots, mangled the Mousers, and totaled the Technodrome. That's Turtle Power. What about the Shredder and Krang? Burn to toast, vaporize to milkshake, or escape to Dimension X. Till we know none of us could sleep safely at our beds or shells. Damn, that has to be a record, at least as far as me is concerned. Yeah, okay, so 40 minutes in, we're done with this game, and usually I would call this a night for this, but you know what? It doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right that I'm ending this at 7:40 at night when I start at 7 o'clock. So, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to watch the credits. I'm going to give a brief explanation as far as my feelings on this game, and then we're going to go back into the Xbox 360 menu, and we're going to look at the demos of the other two Konami beat-em-ups that you can't buy anymore that unfortunately I didn't buy, so the demo only, and God, I wish I'll kick myself for not getting those. So, I guess to start, here's Turtles, the 1989. It's monotonous, but it's fun. It captures the feeling of the series. It looks great, it sounds great, and plays great. This was a good port. This was Digital Eclipse, by the way, who did the port job. And they're usually a good one when it comes to taking classic games and then re-releasing them and, putting them out like that. It's particularly, for me, it's them, it's Backbone Entertainment, it's M2, and I'm trying to think of some other companies that do good port jobs. But them in particular, those three. So, yeah, I mean, for the Turtles, it is great. It's a great time. And Konami did a good job with it. And actually, by that, I got be able to put my name in for all the points I got. And, okay, L is not my name. I don't think there's a way to go back, so we're Lab tonight. I was going to put in MPD, but we're putting LAB. So Lab is number 1 with 341 points. And also, because we completed the game, we get to see the attract mode of the game without the pictures of the characters on it. You have to beat the game in order to see that, weirdly enough. Because if you get a game over while playing, the turtle pictures are still going to be on the screen. So, alright, that's one thing, I guess. Well, okay, now they're not. So, there is the game. So, yeah, that's Turtles. I'm done with that, but we're not done for the night yet. So, let me hit back. And then we go into that. Let's take a look at the achievement list, as I mentioned. Okay, there's 6 I have out of the 12. This is back for the Xbox Live Arcade when achievements were limited to 200 points. So there's the first one, Lofty Goal, clear out April's Loft, losing 10 health or less in a local game. Superhero, destroy all parking meters, pylons, barrels, and speed signs. In the dark, fall into a manhole 5 times. When you fall into it, by the way, they say, who turned the lights out? And you get 0 achievement points for this. So yeah, this was kind of a joke achievement in every sense of the word. There's deep freeze, as I mentioned. The freezing traps in the Technodrome without getting frozen. I did that by complete accident. And man, I did that. Wow, that was like 13 years ago. Wow, time flies. Okay, Ninjutsu is defeat 3 opponents with a direct attack. And then Lickety Split is clearing out the apartment in April's loft in 2 minutes or less, which I did. But the ones I haven't done are Rescue Master Splinter without being burned by the flamethrower of the robot, which I wasn't. What was that one? Evade, defeat General Trag in the Technodrome will lose less than 20 health, or no less than 20 health. Strategy, defeat Krang's robot, losing 10 health or less. I don't know how they expect you to do some of these things, unless you're playing with a bunch of people, you're just letting them do it, and you're just standing. You're like, yeah, I'm right here, I'm being the cheerleader over on the side where you guys are doing all the hard work. And then the last one I mentioned was Turtle Soup, which is defeating Shredder without being turned into the regular turtle, as he did about 5, 6, 7 times, I think. And the other 2 are online specific, which again, I don't know if you can get these anymore. So to earn 250 points individually online, and then beat the game online and live to tell the tale. And here's the other thing, actually, with the online mode, I was mentioning playing through this locally, you have unlimited continues. Online, you don't. And I do remember I did play the online a little bit, but you don't have infinite continues. I think they only give you, 20 or 30. And considering how quickly I was going through them, that's not a lot. So in that case, it actually is pretty hard to do this. But those are the other ones. And again, there's leaderboards for that. There is multiplayer. Let me just see something. I want to see if there's a quick match. Yeah, no new games found. Of course not. I could probably create a new game and see if anybody comes in. But again, this game is now 14 years old. I'm pretty sure the servers are down. But alright, so that's Turtles. But again, what we're going to do is, since it's only 40 minutes that we finish this game, which is definitely a record, and since I want to pad some time and I want to give you guys something more than just what you had, we're going through the list of all the demos I have and all the games that are in here. Some are complete games, a lot are demos. We're going to take a look at the other Konami arcade games they released for the Xbox 360. Ones that, unlike Turtles, I didn't buy, so we're going to only be able to play the demos of them, I hate to say it. But we'll talk about these as well. May as well. It fits. It fits with the concept of tonight, which is licensed beat-em-ups lost to time. Again, thank God they're re-releasing the Scott Pilgrim's World game. Wall tired, but chest to pad time. At some point, yeah, I could do that. I was trying to think about other ideas about this, but this is going to be quick because these are like demo situations. These are only going to give me like 1 or 2 levels, so this is not going to take too much time. But anyway, this is the Simpsons arcade game. This was also released from Konami. This was 1991, I believe. At least it gives me a little bit of Simpsons situation going on this channel. I think the only other Simpsons game I have is the one on the Wii. Unless I'm forgetting one. Let the intro play at least, and then we can take a look at that. And then we're going to take a look at X-Men, and then we'll call it a night. Again, this was really early when this came out. This was 1991 when this released. So, this is when the show was, like, it just come on. So they got onto this quickly. Get $20 on Simpsons Arcade. Yeah, I can understand that. Although, I'd say this with Simpsons Arcade, I kind of like it better than Turtles in the sense that I think it's better designed as far as not dying as much. And also you get lives in that game, so you kind of get more of a play on it. But still, I mean, I definitely get that. Okay, so, yeah, we can't do this. I would love for this to work, but unfortunately, I can't buy this game. It was $5 when they dropped this. I think it was 2011 when it came out. Unfortunately, I can't buy it, and I gotta hope they'll release it somewhere else again later. Or this port specifically. Alright, we're gonna play locally. We can't unlock the full game. Stop reminding me. See, again, this is the dangers of, you know, the digital age in the sense of I'm not one of those people who's against digital gaming on its face, but it's also one of those things, especially when you have licensed games and you want to buy something, take the chance. You might lose the chance later. And if you get it back at some point, definitely take the chance then. Again, people were doing that with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. They clearly want that game. Okay, this version, by the way, they do give you the option to play the US or the Japanese version. You also have another mode here. You could basically share a pool of quarters or play unlimited continues. For the demo, they only give you team quarters. You play normal. You can select stages if you go along. I only have the one, so downtown it is. Alright, so let's play as Homer.
Homer!
Alright, now the story of this game is Smithers, who had blue hair at the beginning of the show, stole a gem. Maggie got it in her mouth. She won't take it out, and so Smithers stole Maggie. So it's up to the family to bring her back.
Maggie!
And with that, run around with Homer or whoever character, or all four of them, and just beat enemies up. Again, like with Turtles, same situation. Move, jump, punch. You also have your enhanced jump situation, or your enhanced attack. Basically, press the attack and the jump buttons together. I guess they're saying hurry up. Oh, right, because I have a time limit down there. Okay, never mind. This is a little more advanced than Turtles in the sense that you can also pick up weapons and things. We'll see that probably as we go along. Also, you move a lot faster. Just look at me here as opposed to how Turtles went. That being said, this is working on an enhanced version of the engine that ran Turtles, so still get some familiar aspects to it as well. Yeah, you still have that hit buttons and wiggle joystick situation too. So again, you can see the influences of Turtles on this game as well. And you'll see that with the next game we're going to play briefly. So, I mean, I guess if nothing else, this turned out interesting as far as I get to play Turtles and then also showcase a couple other games as well. Plus, you get more elaborate enemies in some cases where you have, like, this guy from the fire department who shoots smoke out. Oh yeah, and you also have power-ups where you basically become more powerful with punches. And you pick up weapons as well. And burgers your health. Alright, so here's the sumo guy. Yeah, when his pants come down, thank God he's not anatomically correct, otherwise I would probably be banned in an instant. But, also because he is wearing something, so that's fine enough to that. So you can just keep beating him. Yeah, when you get dizzy, you get an extra life there, and you fly in. I think you get 5 extra lives as far as how this is. Basically just beat, and there you go. And like with Turtles, again, it captures the feel of its license well, it plays well, it has some nice enhancements over what Turtles had as well. And, yeah, not too much to say about it. Again, I wish I bought this when it was around, but the license period was really short on this one. This was like a year. I don't understand why it was that short. I think it came out in 2011. But by the next year when I was going to get it, it was gone. So, again, digitally speaking, if you could jump on these things as soon as you see them, pretty much.
I'm back here with my kids!
Alright, so there goes that. Unfortunately, I don't have a Cowman, but unfortunately I have to because I can't buy this. So, alright, that's Simpsons, so we're only going to be able to show the demo off. And same thing with the next game we're going to show. And then with this one, that should take us to about an hour. So yeah, in that case, this will be a pretty short play tonight. I'm actually kind of surprised it's as short as it was. In fact, actually, I think this is going to be the shortest one I've had since I did Animaniacs on Super Nintendo, where that was like a little over an hour. That was basically a speed run of that game. That was a situation where, if you're not doing You Don't Know Jack, I should do You Don't Know Jack at some point. Actually, I should buy it and then do it. Let's see. Okay, we're doing X-Men. This is the other Konami beat 'em up that, again, is based off Turtles engine. And this is a favorite of a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Not least of which because you have, like, the X-Men situation going on. But also because this is something of a gaming, I guess, cult classic, and something that people are very aware of when you go to MagFest in particular. You Don't Know Jack as a group. I have to get one, but I get the question for chat, which one should I do? Because You Don't Know Jack came out on a bunch of systems. It was on PlayStation, it was on 360, it was on Wii. I think it's on the new systems as well. I don't know which version I should do, or which version I should get, because I don't have any version of it. But that would be... Actually, I should do it. I should definitely do a quiz game. Maybe I'll do that next week. Alright, so there's good old Magneto. So yeah, this is the X-Men arcade game. This came out in 1990, I think? I guess, Chad, give me a correction if that's not right. It was around the time of Turtles and Turtles in Time, and also Simpsons. And again, this got re-released to the Xbox Live Arcade in 2010, I believe. Alright, so again, we can't buy this game. And yes, I'm very sad, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be holding on to these demos for dear life and being able to enjoy a little bit of it as we go on. And stop reminding me. It's like, the only reason I'm saying I don't like that they're telling me to buy the full game is because I can't buy the full game now. If I could, I would, but unfortunately, no. So, alright. Now, the thing about X-Men that was kind of interesting is that, unlike Turtles and Simpsons, there were cabinets of this game that had support for up to 6 players. And this release did have the options for that. You can play it with 4 players, or you can play it with 6 players. And you have the widescreen cabinet for the 6-player version. And like with Simpsons, you also have the option of the US and Japanese ROMs to play on. And a stage select as you unlock everything. But we're going to play normal. And so we got Dazzler, we got Nightcrawler, we got Storm, we got Wolverine, we got Colossus, and we got Cyclops. So, there you go. Yeah, it definitely is insane as far as that. But yeah, I mean, if you've ever played this game in an arcade with 6 people, let me tell you, that is an experience. In fact, I'll get into the story before we start playing this. If you ever go to MagFest, which is a video game convention that happens usually every January, it's been canceled this year, but it's coming back probably with a vengeance next year. Again, either early January or late January. They changed that a bit. But if you ever go to MagFest, they have like a setup of multiple arcade machines. They cart in, and they have the 6-player of this. And there's actually kind of a running joke that goes on with MagFest, where I think for one of the earliest ones they had, there was an issue with the cabinet they had, and you ran into the situation where there was this growl of, or this yell of Magneto, where he went, And now what happens is that because that was repeated ad nauseum when that was going on that year, it's become a tradition. Anytime you go to MagFest and people are there, they'll be walking around the halls and they're going, and it's just something that some people I know find it annoying, but it's the kind of thing that I just feel like, all right, it's a tradition. And it's all because of this game. And I don't know if the demo will show this off, but we'll see if it does. All right, we're playing as Wolverine for the case of this one.
In the 21st century, evil mutants led by Magneto aim to destroy the world. Humans could do nothing against the power of the evil mutant. The only hope is X-Men. Go and save the city.
All right. Now, they do have a widescreen display. I want to see something, because with Turtles, I didn't mention this. You can actually play around with the screen setting. Okay, I want to turn the smoothing off, just for the purpose of this. Wallpaper, HUD, outside screen, in-screen. I'll keep it out. Okay, I want to adjust the screen size. At least in the demo, I can do that. All right. Okay, I could use the default that way. Yeah, that'll work. Again, it's not as big a deal for this one. 92. Okay, thank you. So, all right. So then the trajectory of it was this. Turtles is 89. Hey, we're going in order. Turtles in 89. Simpsons in 91. Turtles in Time also in 91. And this 92. And I think this was the last beat 'em up that Konami made as far as like a license thing. Unless I'm forgetting something. But alright, we got everything set. Alright, here we go. Now we can play. Again, like with Turtles and Simpsons, run around, beat guys. Move, jump, press both buttons to maybe that dive, and there you go. Definitely more elaborate in some ways than the others, but also a little slower than... It's not as fast as Simpsons, but it is, from noticing, but it's a little faster, maybe a tad from Turtles, a little. Not as much as Turtles in Time, because I know Turtles in Time, they give you the option for running. So this is basically go around, defeat Magneto's robots. Yeah, this one definitely takes me back, even though, weirdly enough, I didn't necessarily grow up playing this game so much as I played it after. And that was where a lot of the memories came from. Again, the MagFest situation. Again, if there's one game that defines MagFest, it's this one, for the reasons I explained. And again, it's a fun game, and again, when you get the 6-player version of the machine going, you're all set, and it is a blast to be playing with all those people. In fact, I mentioned Arcade 1-Up doing a release or machine for Turtles. They're doing one for X-Men. They announced they're doing it, and I think it's coming out, I think in April? It's like a mini stand-up arcade machine. I think it goes for like $400 or $500. And it's going to come with this. I think there is a 6-player version that's on... Well, at least I think there is. I know there's a 4-player version. There might be 6. I hope there's a 6. But again, that's definitely kind of a big situation as far as that. And again, since you can't buy this version of it anymore, this downloadable release, and this never got... Oh yeah, that's the other one. X-Men, welcome to die. Yeah, I think even more so I'd say than with Simpsons and Turtles, you really run into situations where a lot of these quotes really are like part of the gaming lexicon. And you do really like that. There's something nice to be able to do that. Yeah, fortunately I'm dead. And also, like with Simpsons, you do have extra lives as you go along. And again, the score system I think is kind of similar to how Simpsons plays. Although from what I understand, I think it might have been changed a little for this re-release, but I don't remember. Again, unfortunately, since I didn't buy this because I was an idiot. We're not going to find out. That being said, I am tempted to maybe buy that X-Men machine thing if I can, get some spare money set up for that, and also get I guess a place, or I check one. Oh, it's the 4-player. Okay. Yeah, I didn't remember if it was the 6, but again, maybe Konami will release this again. I mean, I guess they license it for the purpose of that feasibly, so maybe they'll do it. And I guess speaking of like classic arcade games getting re-released, on the Switch in particular, there's a lot of classic arcade games getting released, particularly from Konami. Not licensed stuff, mind you, but they're still putting out a ton of things. And I'm almost wondering if maybe then there'll be a thought of, hey, they'll release some of this stuff. I mean, best case scenario, we run into what's going on with Scott Pilgrim now, where they do another re-release and then they put a physical, because Simpsons and this, and I guess sort of a Turtles arcade, but Simpsons and X-Men never got home releases until these versions, and again, unfortunately, he's not available.
Turn you to toast.
Alright, he's tearing me to toast. Burning that. Beat him up. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to hear the grunting of, or that yell of Magneto's or the Welcome to Die here, but again, you know what they sound like. You probably know this game, it seems like, in the chat, and hopefully you're enjoying our trip down memory lane with Konami stuff. And I guess it's fitting, because this is not the first time I've done, look back as far as Konami arcade games in a row. So they had, like, the Arcade Classics collection doing, like, Konami stuff. And it seems like every month I pull a Konami game out just by instinct. Same with this month, honestly. So there's definitely a lot of other Konami games I've got to play. Again, if they ever do another re-release for this, you bet I'm going to buy it right away. I mean, I might get the that machine, but again, I also have to take a look as far as the space I have where I'm living. That might be another situation, because I don't know if I have enough space, even for one of those tiny things. Metal Gear Solid, I could do Metal Gear Solid. I absolutely do have that. That might be one to do. I will... Okay, so I earned an achievement. Unfortunately, I can't get it because it's the trial, but turn Pyro to toast. That's basically by killing him, I think. I got a mutant power, which I guess I didn't use. Alright, and unfortunately, that's it. Listen, bub, walk the full version. I wish I could, man, but unfortunately, I cannot. You know what, that was too short. Let's do this one more time, because I didn't actually show off, that mutant power. And also, since there are multiple characters in this, and it makes more sense to show them, let's play one more, and then we'll call it a night. As far as, let's see, Chat, who do you want to see? Since I did Wolverine, we got Storm, we got Nightcrawler, we got Dazzler, we got Cyclops, and we got Colossus. Who do you guys want to see me play with? I guess I'll take a swig of water whilst I'm waiting. And also see what this view players thing is. Okay, okay, that's my gamer tag, never mind. Who the hell's Dazzler? I don't know, you tell me. My experience with X-Men is actually not that familiar. Well, you know what, let's find out who Dazzler is, and then we'll do one more after this. So again, just let me know what your third pick. We'll go through half the roster, how about that? Let's see who Dazzler is. Again, I'm not aware because my experience with the comics is kind of limited, and even my experience with the movies is limited. I don't remember Dazzler being in the movies. Yeah, I'm not necessarily an expert on this comic in particular. We'll see what Dazzler does and what the point is, and I'll also try and see about the mutant power, because I think I had one.
And save the city.
Nice. Maybe Dazzler was in the cartoon? Alright, let me see one other thing. Alright, fine. Okay, that's the mutant power. Press the Y button, and it's a screen clearer. Alright. I guess Dazzler is... I'm gonna guess from the cartoon. I know it's not Jubilee. I know Jubilee as far as the character, so it's not her. It's not like Jean Grey or Rogue or something like that. And obviously that's Storm, but... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's beating people with fists and legs. So we'll see what that's about. Again, her special move is like that flip kick. Yeah, and yeah, I sure got beaten quickly. She's not, I've never seen the show. Okay. Maybe they went really deep with the comics. I mean, I guess that's something to be said about some of the games that we've seen here. With Turtles, with Simpsons in particular, because they were kind of just pulling, like, random stuff as far as some of the references. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, she looks familiar, but I know you're right, because, like, Dazzler was like, wait a second, who's that? But, yeah, alright, so unfortunately I don't have the answer to that. Watch, probably the next X-Men movie we see is gonna have Dazzler in it. It's like, she'll be the main character or something. But then again, who knows? Either way, same idea as far as Wolverine, walk around, beat up enemies, and it's fun. I mean, I guess I may as well give thoughts on what I was saying on Simpsons and with this one, in the sense that, yeah, this game is a lot of fun. Capturing that feeling of, I think, what we want out of a licensed game, this feeling, that attachment to the series that it's based on, even with us not knowing who Dazzler is. And just having a fun, well put together, good looking, good sounding, and kind of iconic in certain ways game to it. So, boom. Actually, yeah, that special attack does take things out pretty quickly, which is actually really nice to have, and I guess you're not... Oh, I see. Okay, it's based on your life, I think, because I'm out of... Okay, I'm out of it, but also I only have one piece of life left. So actually, let me die. I want to see something. Come on, kill me, guys. Oh, okay, so let me see something. Wait, does it? Let me try this one more time. Okay, yeah, you use the power... The mutant power takes your health away, so it's like the special attacks in Streets of Rage, or the special attacks in Streets of Rage 2, I should say. Which is a series I want to get to this year. I definitely am going to do Streets of Rage this year, because that's the 30th anniversary of that one this year, too. And I have a couple I can do. Again, I have them all. I have 1, 2, 3, and I have 4. I'm probably going to go in order on those. I'm going to start with 1. And eventually I'll do 2, 3, and 4. From Wikipedia, she's a mutant with the ability to convert sound vibrations to light and energy beams. Alright, so I guess that makes sense. And yeah, we're making quick work of Pyro, hitting him like that. But again, I'm on my last life, so I might not live very long. But again, I'm also curious to see what the life situation is like. You have the ability to convert sound vibrations into light beams. Okay. Did they say where she appeared in? Okay, continue. Okay, so I can still continue. Alright. Does it say where she appeared? Was it mostly in the comics, or was there any other representations of the series that we saw her in? Like the TV show, movie, TV shows, maybe other ones aside from that cartoon. But I'm pretty sure I thought that cartoon was the only one. Or one of them. Alright, so he's gone. Yeah, we'll go through that, and we'll do one more mutant to show off. But again, thanks for letting me know who Dazzler is. I'm curious to find out only on the back of that. Alright, so we did that. And one last time, we took Storm, we got Nightcrawler, so Dazzler we did, so Storm, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, Colossus, who's my last beat him up, and then we'll call it for the night. I guess also the other question I'm going to ask is, what do you guys want me to do next week? I haven't really put a thought as far as what I want to play. Here in Uncanny X-Men 130, February of 1980. Oh, so that goes back a bit. All right. So yeah, I guess like 12 years after the appearance of the character, then we got her in this game. Again, I think this is the only. It's probably not the only game she's been in. I bet she was probably in. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the what was it? The X-Men Legends games. I guess it appears in the cartoon. Okay, but again, it was probably really a limited situation. I mean, I guess I've never heard, even though people know the cartoon really well, let's play with Colossus. Because it's also kind of reminding me of Deadpool in particular.
The 21st century, evil mutants led by Magneto aim to destroy the world. Humans could do nothing against the power of the evil mutant. The only hope is X-Men. Go and save the city.
Well, saving as much as we can, Magneto. Or not Magneto, Xavier, sorry. Alright, so I'm gonna assume, knowing what I know of Colossus, I know more about Colossus, that's for sure. Oh wait, no, that was it. Okay, so alright, that's the sound. Let's play that again. That was it, it was Colossus. Okay, when he uses his mutant power, he makes that sound. I think the problem with the machine they had when it was at MagFest is that just kept playing. So we're gonna keep doing it. So yeah, anytime you go to MagFest, you're gonna be hearing people doing that. But again, going back to Colossus, knowing what I know of him as a character, he's definitely the slow, heavy guy. So I guess that makes sense. But unfortunately, I'm out of power, so we can't do that, that roaring thing. But alright. Damn, that annoying. Alright, well, I mean, it gets annoying, I guess, when you hear it a lot, but then again, at the same time, it's like, alright, it's a tradition, and honestly, it's one of those things that I can't really imagine, like, MagFest without it. It's one of those things that, maybe it's like, it's almost like sometimes, like, well, if you're, like, annoyed by something where the guy's like, you can't stay mad at it for too long. And again, as far as this is the most we're ever going to be hearing it anyway, and I won't be spamming it anymore, but again, I didn't remember that was the one. So, okay, good thing I picked Colossus as well. See, I thought it was with Magneto. I was wrong, so sometimes you find those things out just by playing around with the game. I guess the other thing then, I guess just to quickly go into this, is what other beat-em-ups do you guys want to see me play? Again, I'm going to do Streets of Rage this year. I don't know if I'm going to do all of them this year, but at least do the first one. Maybe the second one, but what other beat-em-up would you like me to see me tackle? I know you guys mentioned Hyperstone Heist. That's one I want to get a hold of, but outside of that, anything else? Next week's Final Fight. I do have Final Fight for this as well. We could do that. Yeah, okay. I mean, honestly, I didn't have anything planned for next week. I didn't really think about what do I want to do. So, alright, we'll do Final Fight. I have... Actually, it's through this. I have the Final Fight Double Impact Collection. So, it'll be the arcade version of that. So, alright, we'll play Final Fight then. And I'll take... And Metal Gear Solid... we'll do Metal Gear Solid at some point. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna be doing on that one. Disappointed I can't play Simpsons. Yeah, not like that, unfortunately. The only way you can buy Simpsons is I think there's, Again, I think there's a Commodore 64 version. There is, I think, some PC versions, and then there's, again, emulating on a MAME, but that's the only way. I mean, honestly, I guess I may as well get into this as well as we, get to the end of this beat-em-up marathoning, I guess. Impromptu, anyway. Buy a PlayStation now. Okay. Double Impact. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be using. I'm using the 360 version and using the same system for it as I am tonight. So we'll do that one next week. But I mean, yeah, I guess the thing with that is, like, I like the idea that, feasibly, I guess you could emulate anything, really. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to think, like, oh, right, people say, like, well, there's legal situations. And yeah, I guess there are, but I'm not really thinking about that so much as just, well, I'd like to have a copy of these things. I'd like to, I guess, show the support to the company, say, like, hey, I want to buy this. It's just like, with the Scott Pilgrim situation. There's a reason why that sold 25,000 units in 3 hours yesterday. And I could not believe when they said it was that much. But that's what it was. And I think people are saying, like, we want to see more stuff like this. And honestly, I'd love to see a release of this again in a way that I don't have to buy a arcade 1-up unit. But hey, at least the arcade 1-up unit's there. It is a physical thing. It might cost money going down the road, either when it comes out or if it becomes rare, say. But at the very least, there is a way to get it. And same with Turtles, as I mentioned, because you have that arcade unit. There are not perfect ports in certain games, and some other stuff as well. And then Simpsons is kind of the odd one out because, again, you don't have an arcade perfect port of that one. But again, maybe with the success of these arcade 1-up machines, maybe they'll make one. I mean, they must be doing well if they've been making a couple of these. I mean, and for licensed stuff too, as I mentioned with Turtles and X-Men, but also like NBA Jam, they have one up for there. I think I saw one in Walmart for that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So they're willing to go back to some of these things. And again, I think we live in a time when there's a lot of game options to choose, and a lot of people who would want to play some of these games are, again, as Electverse, you mentioned this last week, introducing this to family, or like you said you had like nephews you want to show off games to. Like, yeah, exactly. Show them the idea that actually one of my coworkers, he's saying like he likes to show his son who's like 4 or 5 like these ancient games. I think he got like a Namco arcade stick, and like his kid got hooked on Dig Dug. So I mean, something like that, absolutely. I mean, that'd be great. And again, I think if nothing else, I think that's really kind of where I'm going at with all this stuff, with X-Men, with Simpsons, and with Turtles. And yeah, I guess the next time I go back to Turtles, I will have bought Hyperstone Heist or Turtles in Time. I do want to do both of those at some point. So yeah, I will come back to that at some point because of those things. And I guess as far as next week, yeah, you said it. All right, we'll do Final Fight. We'll do Final Fight Double Impact, or through Final Fight Double Impact. And you know what? We'll do Man of the Month. We'll do it. We'll do Metal Gear Solid. Because honestly, now that I've got more people who are wanting to, I guess, watch this and talk about these things, some of these suggestions, I might as well do a situation where I'm giving back to you guys. I'm giving you back games you want to see. You want to see me play or want to reminisce about. And both of those are good games to reminisce on. But again, next week we'll do Metal Gear Solid. No. Next week we'll do Final Fight. And then week after that, we'll do Metal Gear Solid. And just looking at the calendar here, as far as what are we looking at for the next couple weeks? Yeah, the 30th, I don't know what I want to do. 6th, not sure. And then I think the 13th, we're going to go back to Sonic again. We're going to do Knuckles Chaotix. But then in March, we will be doing Sonic Fighters. And we'll be doing both versions of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine per your request, Electverse. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys watching. And by the way, when we do those games, I did buy, in fact, just to show you, since we are on the 360 here, I can show you this. All right, yeah, I got a lot of the Sonic games in here. I did buy Sonic Fighters on this. I unlocked every achievement within 20 minutes without having to try because they're insanely easy to get. But yeah, we'll play that. And then I have the Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the Xbox. I checked today. I was concerned about one thing, which is when you run backwards compatibility with Xbox games on this thing, I was wondering if like the video feed would cut out when you switch between them, but apparently it doesn't. So when we get to that, we're going to be doing Sonic the Fighters through the 360, and then we'll be going to Sonic Mega Collection Plus for a brief period. We'll take a look at Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, the Genesis version mostly, and then as a little bonus, we'll take a brief look at the Game Gear version, particularly the puzzle mode, because that's something unique. But next week, again, I can show this off. This is actually really nice. I like having a visual aid to this. Next week, we are doing Final Fight Double Impact. This is a collection of Final Fight and Magic Sword. We're going to do the Final Fight end of the equation, although if it ends up being as short as this, I'll do Magic Sword as well. I'm not as familiar with Magic Sword, but I'll do about it because, again, some of these arcade beat-em-ups, they're really short, as we saw with Turtles. But I guess with that, I think I'm going to close it up for Super Old Games Saturday tonight. Again, thank you very much for watching. I'm here every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for classic gaming goodness.